Hi, mamas. It's your girl, Carrie. And today is a really special episode because we're celebrating 2 years of this podcast. Honestly, it does feel a little surreal, even saying that out loud. 2 years, 214 episodes, hours and hours of pouring my heart into this mic, and more importantly, into you. Whether you've been with me since the very beginning or you just found the show last week, I'm so incredibly grateful you're here. And I just want to start this episode by saying thank you for listening, for sharing, for reaching out, for letting me be part of your mornings, your car rides, your coffee breaks. This little corner of the podcast world would not exist without you. So today, I'm keeping it really simple. I want to reflect a little bit on what these past 2 years have taught me, not just about podcasting, but about life, motherhood, balance, growth, and really going for your goals. And I want to leave you with a little encouragement for whatever season you are in right now, too. So let's dive in. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. I guess I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately because last week I was really called to release an episode on the lessons I've learned in motherhood. And this week I feel I was really called to do an episode on what I've learned in the past 2 years of working towards my dream, which when I look back at the person I really was 2 years ago this week, that fear-filled mom with self-doubt about to hit publish on her first 3 episodes and then comparing her to the person I am now, I can honestly say that I'm really proud of myself. Life has thrown a lot of curveballs over the past 2 years, but I've consistently woken up at 4:20 most mornings, worked on this podcast and all the different things it takes to build a side business, and I've consistently released episodes every single week. This past year and a half, I've actually done at least 2 episodes a week, and some weeks I've done more, which is my own insanity. I know. I don't know why I do that to myself, but I do what I feel called to do. Every day, I ask God to show me what my right next step is, and I just take what He puts on my heart. I trust in His timing, I trust in His path, and it hasn't steered me wrong yet. And one of those steps that He guided me on was releasing this episode on the lessons that the past 2 years have taught me, and I hope it lands wherever it needs to within your heart. So let's jump in. The first and one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that growth isn't always loud. Growth doesn't have to look like fireworks and fanfare. A lot of the biggest growth, it's quiet. It's slow, very slow. It happens behind the scenes. It's the early mornings where you're working towards something that no one sees yet. It's the conversations you have with yourself when you want to give up but you don't. It's those tiny pivots and mindset shifts that eventually lead to big, lasting change. When I first started this podcast, I thought success would look like explosive downloads and huge milestones. And yes, there have been some big moments to celebrate, but most of the growth has been much quieter. And like I said, a lot slower than I imagined it to be. But honestly, I'm kind of glad because the quiet growth builds deep roots. It's not always glamorous, but it's actually sustainable. And that's what I want for you too, in your goals, in your career, in your motherhood journey. Deep, steady, rooted growth. The second lesson I've learned is seasons change, and so do you. You're allowed to evolve. What worked for you 2 years ago might not work now. The version of you that dreamed of your goals 2 years ago might have different priorities today. And that's not a failure, that's growth. When I started the show, my life looked a lot different. My kids were in a different stage, my career was in a different place, and my personal dreams were really still forming. But over the past 2 years, so much has shifted. I've walked through chaotic seasons, slow seasons, seasons full of clarity, and seasons that left me question everything. I even switched jobs at work. I moved into a completely different role that I've ever done before. I moved out of a management position that I've held for 6 years, but that was completely draining my energy. And that shift took a lot out of me, something I hadn't planned for, and something that made me have to take a pause on all my side business plans for probably a little over 6 months. And taking that pause was really hard because I had a timeline in my head that I built, but I knew that I couldn't be successful at work, keep to my timeline, and still be a present mom, a wife, a friend, and all the things that I really value in my life. So through it all, I've had to learn to stop clinging to past plans and really just honor the present moment, embrace the season I'm in, instead of constantly fighting it or wishing I was somewhere else. And honestly, now that I'm on the other side of it, I am so grateful for that change at work, that I made the move. It has released such a mental load that my old job had on me that I didn't even realize. I was carrying it into my evenings, into my weekends, into my personal life. So if you feel like you're not who you were when you set out your goals, good. You've grown. Pivot. Make the change. Do what you need to do for the season that you're in. You're allowed to switch gears. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to realign your goals with who you are now, not who you were when you first wrote them down. So give yourself permission to change with the season that you're in. The third lesson I learned was to stay anchored in your why. When life gets chaotic, and it will, you need an anchor, something that reminds you why you started, something that pulls you back when you're tempted to quit or you find yourself getting distracted or drifting off course. For me, that anchor has always been you, my listeners. It's been the mom who feels overwhelmed and needs a little encouragement. It's been the woman trying to balance a career she loves with a life that she loves even more. It's been the reminder that showing up messy is really better than not showing up at all. If you're feeling a little lost right now or totally worn out, I want you to come back to your own why. Why did you go for that promotion? Why did you start that side hustle? Why did you decide to build a life with more intention? Reconnect to it. And if it needs to shift because you've grown, let it. My why 2 years ago is much different than my why now. The fourth lesson I learned is I stopped living in fear of what other people might think. And this is a big one, and it's changed a lot of things for me. The old me used to overthink every move, every post, every message, every decision. I'd second guess myself constantly, worried about how it would be received or what people might think. Now I'm completely done with that because the truth is, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. And if I'm not for you, keep scrolling. I'm here for the moms that need me, that resonate with me, that hear my voice, see my posts, and their day gets a little better. What matters is that it feels aligned and true to you, that it reflects your values, your heart, your growth. So if you're still holding back on whatever it is because you're worried of what someone else might think, let this be your permission to stop. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to live your life. The fifth lesson is boundaries have become more important than ever. Boundaries have become my non-negotiable. Over the past 2 years, I've learned that protecting my peace isn't selfish. It's absolutely necessary. I've become crystal clear on what gets my energy and what doesn't. Boundaries around my time, boundaries around my capacity, boundaries with my relationships, responsibilities, and even social media. And I've gotten really good at saying no, because if you're saying yes to everything, you're going to burn out. And I did burn out, and I'm not here for that life anymore. And I've also gotten really good at distancing myself from people that bring toxic energy and negativity and drama into my life. And those one-sided relationships where I felt like I was pouring so much of my energy into and getting very little in return. But boundaries, they're a form of self-respect. They're how you stay aligned with the life you're working so hard to build. And the life I want to build requires a lot of my energy right now. So I had to get really clear and set boundaries around what was draining my energy and what the return of investment was on that energy drain. So if you've been feeling pulled in a million directions, start setting some gentle but firm boundaries. You'll breathe easier, I promise. And the more you set those boundaries, the easier saying no or creating that distance will be, I promise. The sixth lesson I've learned is let go of comparison and trust in the timing. I guess this is two, but we'll keep it as one. And this one has really been huge for my peace and progress. I've learned to stop comparing myself to other people. Unless I'm learning from them, unless they're motivating me to grow, I'm not looking sideways. I have those blinders on because comparison, it's a trap and it's absolutely exhausting. So I've learned to put blinders on and really focus on my own journey because here's the truth. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's dealing with their own stuff, their own challenges, their own pain, their own timeline. And I've come to the place where I 1000% trust in God's timing. Now, I'm not always happy with it. Absolutely not. I've had plenty of moments where I've questioned it, wrestled with it, maybe even cried over it. But looking back, every not yet, every detour, every pivot I've had to make, even in the darkest and hardest seasons, they've all led me to something. Some of the most beautiful blessings in my life came out of those dark moments. They shaped me, they softened me, they gave me the perspective and the strength I really have now. So if you're in one of those waiting moments or why is this happening right now moments, just know you're not behind. You're being prepared. And I also remind myself that Mel Robbins, she didn't blow up until she was in her 50s. And prior to that, she went through some serious financial troubles. So like I said, some beautiful light comes out of periods of darkness. And honestly, those dark periods really make you appreciate the light so much more. There's no timeline on when breakthrough is supposed to happen. There's no expiration date on your purpose. You're right on time, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. So those are my main lessons, but I also wanted to give you a little insight on what I see next for Mom, Wife, Career Life, and me. And honestly, it's so much. I have so many interviews lined up with amazing women that I know we are all going to learn so much from. I'm working on creating a couple of workshops and most importantly, my time management course, something I've been pouring my heart into for what feels like forever, but I did take a pause on that course to work on my Mornings Made Simple workshop that I'm actually hosting live next week. If you're listening to this real time, and if you've been craving a better way to start your days, you need to be there. I'm sharing my Rise and Shine method where I'll walk you through step by step on how to craft a morning that feels calm, intentional, and dare I say, maybe even get you excited to get out of bed in the morning. And I created a beautiful intentional workbook that comes along with it, one that will guide you step by step in building routines that support your goals, your energy, and the season of life you're in. So if you're listening into this real time, the cart is open right now, so go snag your spot. And if you're catching this after the fact, don't worry, you can still grab the replay and go through my workshop on your own time. But no matter when you listen, the resource is available to absolutely support you, to help you build the life you love, because I know firsthand how powerful a solid morning routine can be in creating more calm and clarity in your day and really your life, and honestly, helping you create the life you desire. And when you walk away from this episode, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own growth. Maybe it's been loud and obvious, maybe it's been quiet and hidden, but either way, it's real, it matters, and it's worth celebrating. Celebrate how far you've come, not just big milestones, but in the small, brave choices you made along the way, whether it's a goal, whether it's your parenting, whether it's your marriage, your relationship, whether you met your financial goal and were able to buy a house, or you graduated and got your degree, whatever it is, you worked hard for it, celebrate it. And if this podcast has been at all part of your journey, would you do me a favor? And if you haven't done so already, leave the show a review, share this episode with a mom friend who might need that reminder that growth is messy, beautiful, and so worth it. Or even just DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life. I love hearing from you, and those messages truly light me up. So happy podiversary to us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be part of your life. Here's to the next year, the next season, and the next messy, beautiful step forward. Sending you so much love, light, and gratitude. Until next time on Mom, Wife, Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes, and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories, and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life. Or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom, Wife, Career Life with Carrie Pat.